Here is an in-depth report on government actions in Ohio for June 26, 2025, based on the latest available information. Higher Education Overhaul Law takes effect. Ohio's controversial Senate Bill 1, an overhaul of higher education policy, officially went into effect on June 26, 2025, after a failed referendum attempt to repeal it. The law requires significant changes across Ohio's public universities and community colleges, including mandating a new American civics course for students, requiring faculty to publicly share their class syllabi, and eliminating all diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) offices and programs. Although the law took effect on June 26th, many changes have staggered deadlines extending through June 2026. For example, all DEI offices must close by the end of September 2025, with many universities already preemptively shutting down these offices. University leaders, such as the University of Cincinnati's president, Neville Pinto, have publicly acknowledged the challenges of dismantling DEI efforts, citing concerns about community belonging. This reflects the tension surrounding the law's implementation. State budget actions affecting public libraries. The Republican-controlled legislature finalized a 2-year state budget and sent it to Governor Mike DeWine, including provisions directly impacting Ohio's 251 public library systems. Key points in the budget regarding libraries include a $25 million funding cut compared to the current fiscal year, reducing total state library funding to approximately $497.7 million in the first budget year, down from $504.6 million. Elimination of the Public Library Fund, a dedicated fund since 2008 that guaranteed a fixed percentage of state revenue, currently at 1.7%. Governor DeWine had proposed raising it slightly to 1.75%, but lawmakers removed the guaranteed percentage feature. Libraries will now receive funding via direct appropriations, which is less predictable and potentially less stable. New policy changes on how libraries must handle sensitive media, with specific implications for media available to minors, although detailed policy specifics were not given in this report. Governor DeWine has expressed strong support for libraries despite the funding cuts, emphasizing their role as community centers. Other noteworthy government developments on June 26, 2025. Property tax abolition amendment proponents announced that their measure will not appear on the 2025 fall ballot, instead aiming for the 2026 ballot. This postponement delays a significant potential change in Ohio tax policy. The Ohio Department of Education released notes from a recent ITC, Information Technology Center, conference call held on June 23rd, relevant to education data management, though no major policy changes were reported on June 26 itself. Broader ongoing legislative activity includes new bills expected related to Ohio LGBTQ+ rights, with ongoing debates about protections and restrictions. However, no specific legislative action on these bills was reported on June 26. On June 26, 2025, the Ohio government enacted the following significant actions. Senate Bill 1 going into effect, initiating major reforms in higher education, including civics courses, and the elimination of DEI offices and programs. Starting a phased implementation through mid-2026. Passage of a state budget cutting public library funding by $25 million, ending the dedicated public library fund, and instituting new media policies affecting library displays, especially for minors. Decision to postpone the property tax abolition amendment to 2026 ballot. Routine educational data updates and continued legislative activity on social issues with no new bills passed on these topics on that day. These actions reflect a broader state government agenda focused on reshaping higher education, tightening cultural policies, and tightening budget controls on public services.